everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, that is Natasha's Library. So in my today's video, there's a test for you in order to get you ready for your prelims examination. So guys, in this video, there are 10 questions related to environment and ecology, and each question will be dealt with an ensuing explanation. So before starting the MCQs, there are some instructions for you and you have to follow them strictly to take the maximum benefit of this practice. So the first instruction is that you have to pause the video as soon as the question appears and then answer the question and then resume the video. Okay? The second instruction is that you have to calculate your score without fail and write it in the comment section. Okay? And in the end, guys, we will also discuss your score out of 10. So the first question is, Johannesburg Declaration 2002 is in reference to which of the following? Option A, Disaster Management Cooperation among United Nations. Option B, Climate Change Directives for the Developed World. Option C, Cooperation on Energy Efficient Grids among African Nations. Or Option D, Sustainable Development Agenda for United Nations countries. So what do you think, guys? The answer to the first question is option D, right? That is Sustainable Development Agenda for United Nations countries. Now let us learn something about Johannesburg Declaration 2002. So the World Summit on Sustainable Development was also known as Earth Summit 2 or Rio Plus 10, which was organized after 10 years of the first Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro, which was held in 1992 to develop consensus on sustainable development by the United Nations. Okay? So this declaration on sustainable development was adopted at the World Summit on Sustainable Development to set the agenda for the coming decade on improving people's lives, conserving our natural resources and safeguarding our common future. The summit will also serve as a platform for the launch of new partnership initiatives known as Type 2 outcomes by and between governments, NGOs and businesses to tackle specific problems and achieve measurable results. Moving to the second question. Eutrophication can be appropriately defined as option A, amount of dissolved oxygen needed to break down organic material. Option B, an increase in the concentration of a nutrient as you move up in the food chain. Option C, a decrease in biotic potential of the aquatic ecosystem. Or option D, enhanced plankton growth due to excess supply of nutrients. So the correct answer is option D, that is enhanced plankton growth due to excess supply of nutrients. So guys, eutrophication, which is also known as hypertrophication, is when a body of water becomes overly enriched with minerals and nutrients that induce excessive growth of plants and algae. This process may result in oxygen depletion of the water body. So the main effects caused by eutrophication can be abundance of particulate substances, for example, phytoplankton, zooplanktons, bacteria, fungi, and debris that determine the turbidity and coloration of the water. Number two, abundance of inorganic chemicals such as ammonia, nitrites, hydrogen, sulfide, etc. that in the drinking water treatment, plants induce the formation of harmful substances such as nitrosamine suspected of mutagenicity. Okay. Next is abundance of organic substances that give the water disagreeable odors or tastes barely masked by chlorination in the case of drinking water. And these substances, moreover, they form complex chemical compounds that prevent normal purification processes and are deposited on the walls of water purifier inlet tubes, accelerating corrosion and limiting the flow rate. All right. The third question is, which of the following are the main component gases of greenhouse gas emission? Carbon dioxide, methane, nitrogen, nitrous oxide. Option A 1, 2 and 3, B 1, 2 and 4, C 3 and 4 only, D all of them. So the correct answer is option B, that is 1, 2, and 4 only. Carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. Nitrogen is not a greenhouse gas, guys. So global warming is a result of rise in proportion of atmospheric greenhouse gases, we know this, than their normal level, right? So the rise of greenhouse gases levels has been attributed to the process of industrialization, urbanization, and pollution caused by vehicular, industrial, domestic, and agricultural emissions. So these are the main component gases of GHG emissions, which are carbon dioxide, methane, chlorofluorocarbons, nitrous oxide, and ozone. This is a very important question, guys. Question number 4 is, which of the following prerequisites in regard to pollutants is or are necessary for biomagnification in food web? We learned about this, right? 1. Longevity. 2. Insolubility in fats. 3. Mobility. 4. Solubility in water. Option A 1 and 3, B 1 and 2, C 2 and 4. Option D 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the correct answer is option A, that is 1 and 3 only. That is longevity and mobility. So guys, biomagnification refers to the tendency of pollutants to concentrate as they move from one trophic level to another trophic level, and thus it is an increase in concentration of a pollutant from one link in a food chain to another. So in order for biomagnification to occur, the pollutant must have following characteristics. Number 1 is that a pollutant must be long-lived, which means that if a pollutant is short-lived, it will be broken down before it can become toxic. Long life of a pollutant allows it to sustain itself as it moves up in the food chain. Okay. The second feature is that a pollutant must be mobile, which means that immobility of a pollutant restricts it to one position and thus becomes unlikely to be taken up by the organism, thus hindering the biomagnification. Okay. Next is that it should be soluble in fats. Pollutants that dissolve in fats are retained for a long time as the breakdown of such pollutants becomes a bit complex. Next, it should be biologically active, which means that if a pollutant is not biologically active, it may biomagnify but is not toxic to a great degree. For example, DDT. Okay. Then a pollutant must be less soluble in water, which means that if the pollutant is soluble in water, it has the possibility to be excreted by the organism. I hope this is clear now. Now let us look at the question number 5. Consider the following statements with respect to the acid rain. 1. In wet acid rain, sulfuric and nitric acids formed in the atmosphere fall to the ground mixed with rain, snow, fog or hail. Number 2. Acid rain falling on a forest soil disrupts soil nutrients and kills microorganisms in the soil. Number 3. Acid rain increases the methane emission from wetlands by disturbing their pH. So which of the following above statements is or are correct? 1 only, 1 and 2, 1 and 3 or 1, 2 and 3? So the correct answer is option B, that is 1 and 2 only. Statement 3 is incorrect. Why it is incorrect? Because wetland soils also contain sulfur-loving archaea, which are single-celled organisms that use sulfur for energy production. And they compete with the methane-producing microbes. In areas where there is a significant amount of acid rain, scientists have shown that these sulfur archaea outcompete the methane-producing microbes, thereby decreasing the methane output in these areas significantly. Right? Question number 6 is the pollution index, that is PI, designed to measure the thermal pollution load of industries as a function of which of the following parameters? Number 1, heavy metals, quantity of emissions, quantity of effluents, hazardous wastes generated, or consumption of resources. Option A 1, 3 and 4 only. Option B 1, 2, 3 and 4. Option C 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And option D 2, 3, 4 and 5 only. So the correct answer is option D, that is 2, 3, 4 and 5 only. So guys, the PI of any industrial sector is a number from 0 to 100, and the increasing value of PI denotes the increasing degree of pollution load from the industrial sector. The new system is based on the PI, which is derived only from the quantity of emissions, that is air pollution, quantity of effluents in water pollution, hazardous wastes generated, and consumption of resources by an industry. So this index is based on the concentration of five main pollutants. Number 1, ozone, nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide, PM 2.5 and PM 10. Remember this, guys. Question number 7 is, which of the following statement related to aerosols is incorrect? We have to see the incorrect statement here. Option A. Aerosols often act as cloud condensation nuclei around which cloud droplets are formed. Option B. Aerosols scatter sunlight which can reduce visibility and redden sunrises and sunsets. Option C. Chlorine concentrated in the upper layer of the troposphere play a major role for the formation of aerosols. Or option D, aerosols can act as sites for chemical reactions to take place which deplete stratospheric ozone. So the correct answer is option C, which is an incorrect statement here. That is, chlorine concentrated in the upper layer of the troposphere play a major role for the formation of aerosol. This is an incorrect statement, okay? So aerosols are minute particles suspended in the atmosphere, and when these particles are sufficiently large, we notice their presence as they scatter and absorb sunlight. So why option C is incorrect? Because ammonia concentrated in the upper layer of the troposphere, not the chlorine, okay? So it play a major role for the formation of the aerosols in the atmosphere. And such concentration of ammonia in the troposphere is due to high agricultural emissions from livestock farming and fertilization. Alright? Question number 8. Animal Board of India was constituted under which of the following acts? A. Biological Diversity Act 2002. B. Wildlife Protection Act 1972. C. Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960. Or is it D. Forest Conservation Act 1980? So the correct answer is option C, that is Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960. So guys, the Animal Welfare Board of India is a statutory advisory body on animal welfare laws and promotes animal welfare in the country. Remember that it's a statutory body, okay? So it was established in 1962 under Section 4 of the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960. The board was started under the stewardship of late Srimati Rukmini Devi Arundale, well-known humanitarian. Okay. Next question, question number 9. Which of the following statements related to the role of arsenic in groundwater pollution in India are correct? Number 1. Arsenic in groundwater is highly toxic in its organic form. Number 2. Arsenic as a natural component of the Earth's crust is scarcely distributed throughout the environment. Option number 3. Arsenic in groundwater is caused by natural geological processes. Or is it 4? It is an odorless and tasteless contaminant. Option A 1, 2 and 4. 3 and 4. Option C 2, 3 and 4 only. Or option D 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the correct answer is option B, that is 3 and 4 only, which means statements 1 and 2 are incorrect. So why these statements are incorrect? Because arsenic, which is odorless and tasteless, enters water supplies from natural deposits in the earth or from agricultural and industrial practices, right? So arsenic in groundwater is a geogenic contaminant that is caused by natural geological processes and is highly toxic in its inorganic form, not organic form, okay? And arsenic as a natural component of the Earth's crust is very widely distributed throughout the environment. So our last question is question number 10. Consider the following statements about oil spills. Number 1. Oil spills decreases the level of dissolved oxygen in water, killing marine organisms. Number 2. Oil spills can be controlled by chemical dispersion and combustion. Number 3. Oil spills, being more viscous in nature, tend to spread slowly in the environment, thus cleaning up is easier. So which of the above statements is or are correct? Option A, 1 only. Option B, 1 and 2 only. Option C, 2 and 3 only. Option D, all of the above. So guys, the correct answer is option B, that is 1 and 2 only. Statement 3 is incorrect. So let us understand about oil spills. Oil spills include any spill of crude oil or oil distilled products. For example, gasoline, diesel fuels, jet fuels, kerosene, Stoddard solvent, hydraulic oils, and lubricating oils. So they can pollute the surface of the land, air, and water environments and living organisms, including humans too, due to the environmental discharge of various organic compounds that make up crude oil and oil distillate products, the majority of which include various individual hydrocarbons. So why statement 3 is incorrect? Oil spills are very difficult to control, and in statement 3 it is mentioned that it is easier to clean them up, right? They spread very fast, affecting a large area over shorter time, and their impact is detrimental to the subjected environment, for example, land, water, air. Oil films retards the dissolved oxygen and decreases light penetration. Okay? So guys, that's all. Now you have to calculate your score. If your score is between 0 to 2, then there are very low chances of your selection. Just work hard again and again. And if your score is 3 or 4, then there is no substitute for hard work. You have to work hard. Okay. If your score is 5 or 6, that means that you can do better. You just need to grind more. If your score is 7 or 8, then means you're going good and you're almost there. Just keep it up. Okay. If your score is 9 or 10, then there are very high chances of your selection. All the best. Okay, guys, so thank you. Before going anywhere else, don't forget to mention your score in the comment section. And yes, do share this video with your friends too. Thank you all.